All right, everybody. Time to bring in the great Murphinus. Let's talk some cards, baby. All right, so Murph,
Yeah.
a year ago, I found my old sports card collection. A year ago.
So this has been a year in the making, huh?
Yep. And I submitted 178 cards to PSA on about February 20th, 2021.
On that day, you submitted 178.
Well, about a year ago, I found my cards. And then about a month later, after about a month of research, I submitted them all. So about 11 months ago is when I submitted them. And I just got an email yesterday from PSA. So 11 months later, I got an email from PSA saying that they are now in grading. So they arrived. The order status was arrived on April 26th, 2021. So 2 months after I mailed them in, PSA verified that they received them. 2 months after I mailed them in. And then they went into the order prep phase. And then they've been in the research and identification phase, which says your items were researched. So each item can be correctly identified on the PSA label. They were in that phase since probably, July. So about the last 6 months, they've been in research and identification. And now they just got into grading. So I don't know when I'm going to get them back, but if I get them back at the end of February, I think at the end of February, I think 6 more weeks from today's recording is a good estimate for when I might get them back.
I think you have, based on the original timeline that you just went through, you have zero chance to get those by the end of February.
Okay. So well, that might be true.
I actually thought you were going to say, Murph, I did some research, and here was my sunk cost into the grading of the cards. This is what my selling was last year, and this is what I'm up, or this is what I'm down based on my fixed cost. Little did I know from the start of the story, we still would not have a story other than probably don't go with PSA for your grading company, because apparently it stands for just 3 guys in a room grading cards by the name of Peter, Scott, and Anthony.
It might.
And
it may. It may.
We are really, really overwhelmed.
We don't. Yeah. They're really overwhelmed. And,
so what's your cost? What's your cost on those? So PSA has had your money for a year.
Well,
fair.
No, they've had
or
the
do you
ability.
Not pay until the grading is done.
You don't pay until the grading is done, and basically what happens is they finish the grading, and then as soon as they finish the grading, basically if you get an email that says your grades are ready. And as soon as you get that email, it basically means your cards are about to be shipped tomorrow.
Okay.
And when that happens, when they ship your cards, they charge your credit card on file for the grading and the shipping cost.
For the price that you committed to last February, not today's pricing, which is significantly different based on what you had told me.
Yeah, exactly. So I committed at $12 a card,
which is like 10% of today, right?
Yeah, it's like 10. It's 12%. It's 12% of what you would pay today, because the lowest tier is $100 right now per card.
Yeah, got it.
So I say, I got in at basically the last possible week that you could have submitted cards before they jacked up their pricing and then shut down. And they shut down for several months. They didn't shut down. They stopped taking new submissions.
They stopped taking new submissions.
Grade the backlog. So they have my fee. I know I think it's gonna be $2,500. Give or take maybe a couple $100. It's either way. But let's just say $2,500 for the grading fee. I've got 178 cards there. I'm feeling pretty good about now. I don't know if you remember things you did a year ago, but I don't, if you were to try to remember the 178 cards from a year ago, it's a little bit hard to remember. And then, you and I have done so much just in the last few months with cards, and we've talked about a lot of the moves that I've made that have nothing to do with this submission from a year ago.
Right.
So
exactly,
it's fun kind of looking at this.
And these
list.
are cards from 30 years ago.
These are all cards from 30 years ago. These are all cards. The most recent card is like a Kobe Bryant 1996-97 rookie. I think are like the most recent cards in this submission. So they are from 1988 through 1990, basically.
You gotta like that. I mean, you can't grade a card with pretty much any company for $12 right now. So you gotta really love the fact that, I mean, to break even, what do you need? You need $15 a card. And that's basically what you need on that to break even from your initial costs and so forth. So is it fair to say, Hickey, that when you got that email, that you were pretty jacked up? You were pretty excited?
I was excited. I was excited to see.
Yeah. Because you know that 8 weeks from now, it's like Christmas in March.
It's gonna be Christmas in March. I mean,
you and I are gonna have a 2 hours.
We're gonna have a long. Yes, we're gonna need to do a long show.
Okay.
When I get the grades, we're gonna do a long show, and I'm gonna be prepared for it because you know that leading up to that recording, I'm gonna be looking at all the prices of what these things have been going for. I'm gonna have a spreadsheet ready. I'm going to have like a total number of projected profit. I'm going to have all that.
It's a good thing that Paul wears the earmuffs there, because his ears would be red with excitement. I know Paul, he's just going to be stoked. He's going to be at an energy level at an all-time high. He'd be busting through that top button that he's got buttoned up there. He's going to be excited. So I cannot wait for that show, 6 to 8 weeks. Just right now, you got like 2 months worth of content because we're going 2 hours. We're going 2 hours, and then there's probably going to be even more content after they get shipped to my PWCC vault, and I actually get to see photos of them, like the nice high-res photos. So, Murph, let me just throw out a few of these cards. I'm not going to list all 178 of them. We don't have time for that. But thank you, because I'm going to go a little longer. We got 14 minutes.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's just say there's 1991 Upper Deck SP1 Michael Jordan in the White Sox uniform. There's all the 1998 cards that we talk about all the time. All the 1988 Fleer cards that we talk about all the time. There's about 20 to 25 Barry Sanders. There's multiple 1989 Don Russ, Ken Griffey Jr. rookies. Tons of Magic Johnson.
That's great. 2
Vince Carter rookies, Shaq rookies. Just a ridiculous amount of Michael Jordan. 2 1989 David Robinson Hoops rookies.
I like
tons of Larry Bird, Scottie Pippen.
I'm not sure that when we started this that I knew of some of the quality that you had submitted. I'm pretty stoked about what you got going on right now, especially
there's some Jaromir Jagr rookies. There's Frank Thomas rookies. There's a 1985 Topps Kirby Puckett rookie. Do you remember the 1991 Santa Claus cards in the football sets? So Pro Set used to come out with Santa Claus insert cards. I've got one of those in there for grading.
I have one of those. I didn't really know what that was, to be honest, when I was going through a bunch of stuff, so I didn't even value it out, but the Santa Claus is interesting. Do you have a Payne Stewart Pro Set?
I loved that Payne Stewart card. You know what?
The green card, with his yellow hat and green top and all that.
I do not have the Payne Stewart. Okay. I do have a ridiculous amount of Pro Set golf cards from the Pro Set golf set in 1990 or 1991. And they're just in horrible condition. They're not, none of them would grade well, but yeah, I love the Payne Stewart card. There was a Paul Tagliabue card in there that I thought was cool. Yeah. There's so many I loved that 1990 Pro Set look. So there's actually a lot of those in here.
I've got a Belichick, like head coach.
Well, the
card
Belichick, for the Cleveland Browns.
I mean, that's got to be something.
It's something. It's something.
I got to think that if there was a Vince Lombardi from '66, that would be worth something. So Belichick, 90 something would be worth something too. Well, that's going to be exciting.
Now there's one in here, Murph, that I'm not sure if it's a real authentic card, but PSA has given it a serial number already. They've assigned serial numbers to these cards. They just haven't shown I don't think they've graded them all yet, and so they haven't given me what the grades are. But the card, I bought this 1986 Fleer Michael Jordan rookie card from someone on Facebook Marketplace, and I did it. I think I paid $50 for it, and I'm 95% sure that it's a reprint or some kind of a fake, right? But the backstory that the person gave me on the card, it could have been a total scam. 95% sure, total scam.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? If this thing is actually real and I can slip it into this submission for $12,
right?
Let's just see what happens. Now, that was a year ago. I don't miss that. I'm fortunate enough to not miss that $52 that I spent on that card, $62.
Yeah.
If by some chance I get any grade on this card, that 2-hour show is going to have a lot of content about that 1986 Fleer Michael Jordan. I'll tell you that.
We might be drinking, a bottle of nice whiskey, during the show.
We might do the 2-hour show in person because I might have flown back just to pick up that card and then go to your house and we look at it together and do the show with it.
I'm in. So the story in and of itself is probably worth $62. The story the
story of what the guy told me on Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably worth $62 in and of itself. So whatever.
Probably.
If you get a grade of 5, and you get $80 out of it, done.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk more about that later. But I know I've only got you for a few more minutes. So why don't you pick your topic here? Some topics that you can pick from.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna throw them all out there, and then you go with the one you want. We could do Van Jefferson Love Fest. We could do
that. Could be quick, but fine.
We could do Cam Reddish getting traded to the Knicks. We could do vintage on-card autos, which I've started to get into quite a bit. Or you could answer the question, now that we're past Christmas, are you following basketball yet? And would you like to talk about the NBA a little bit?
After the Super Bowl, I will follow basketball. But here's what I did know. I did notice the Cam Reddish, and I will tell you one thing. So the other night, the Minnesota Timberwolves were on television. And I got a chance to watch your boy for about an hour and a half. Anthony Edwards is really good. He's really good. That team's got a long ways to go as far as like being competitive and being consistent, but that team's going to make the playoffs in one way, shape, or form. God, on your end, I hope to God that they win a playoff game or the play-in game against whoever they're playing, because they're not going to be a top 6 more than likely. But I hope that they can, win that game and then all of a sudden get in a 7-game series to where this guy can be on national TV over and over and over again. The guy's the real deal. Creates his own shot, moves well without the ball. Future leader of that team. Karl Anthony Towns certainly as a center wasn't capable of really leading that team anywhere. They got a really nice team there. So when I saw them on television, I decided to watch them. There you go.
Yeah, that's good to hear you say that. I mean, I think Anthony Edwards looks like the real deal also. He's long. He's like Stretch Armstrong. He drives in for a layup and all of a sudden he's like at the rim laying it in. I mean, he makes it look easy, and he's got a nice jump shot coming along. Got a lot of confidence. Team leader at a second year. So good to hear you say that. Cam Reddish, I think, he's been buried in Atlanta.
That trade gives the Knicks a chance to kind of turn their season around here a little bit, gets a little fire. And I read an article this morning, you should take a look at it on ESPN.com, about a Duke reunion up there with Zion, who I'm not big on, but bringing a bunch of, 3, 4, 5-year players up to the Knicks and just creating some exciting basketball up there in New York.
Yeah, I've been high on RJ Barrett since around this time last year, and I've been, I think he's been underwhelming, but I do think that he's still developing, and it's still really early, and he could be
He's 20.
He could be legit. I think he's got the right profile to be like a huge guy in the hobby. And I saw the same article that you're talking about. I didn't read it, but I just saw the headline and kind of smiled because I thought, okay, well, this could be actually good for RJ because I've got a lot of RJ cards. I don't have any Cam Reddish cards, but I know a lot of people. And I want to give a shout out to a guy named Ben Kinzer, who's a member of the Sports Card Strategy Facebook group, who's been asking about Cam Reddish. And now I think Ben could be pretty happy because he's been buying Cam Reddish. And I think Zion definitely won't be in New Orleans long term. So, why wouldn't he go to the Knicks and reunite with those former Duke teammates? And, whether or not Zion ever can get past, Greg Oden status, even if he can get to the Knicks, then that could be something that generates enough hype that could be good for all three of those guys. And that article in the sports card world is huge for, I think, all three of those guys right now. Because none of the three of them have done anything yet, and they need all the hype they can get.
Exactly. From a sports card world, from your guy in the Facebook group and stuff, it's best thing that could have happened because you get those players just simply to New York. Unfortunately, there's not enough media, not enough hype for two guys in Atlanta. And we know that Young is the guy there, and he's going to be the consistent player that's going to get the news, get the buzz, the leader of that team. It's a great opportunity for those guys and their card value. I think anytime you go to New York, LA, Dallas, something like that, it's always going to be good for you.
And Murph, this is good for my guy, DeAndre Hunter. His card value. He's a long wing in Atlanta. He's the former number 4 overall pick. And so with Reddish out, it's a clear commitment to DeAndre Hunter, who's been injured, but has just come back from injury, and he's looking good. So I bought a couple DeAndre Hunter RPAs before the season started for under $70 each, and I'm going to be looking to move them as soon as DeAndre puts together a few 20-point performances down the stretch here.
Oh, we're in the middle. We haven't got the All-Star break yet. So we haven't even gotten to the stretch.
Yeah. You haven't even started watching the NBA season yet. So
no, end of February. That's when I'll start.
At the end of February, I'll be excited to talk to you more about Ja Morant and the Grizzlies come end of February.
Ja Morant is awesome. Here's what I know about the NBA right now. If you're not watching Ja, if you've got season tickets to the Memphis Grizzlies, you're a lucky person. You're getting a chance to watch by far the best player out of that draft. He was going to be the best player out of that draft just simply because of the position that he plays. He's controlling the ball. He's just a leader of that team. He's unselfish. He's smart. Tell you what. Sorry, Zion. It's already been decided. You're the Greg Oden of those first picks.
You're Greg Oden, buddy.
You're Greg Oden.
You are Greg Oden.
You're 25 pounds, 30 pounds overweight. I don't think that's going to get consistently any better until you're a year out from your next contract. Then you'll get in shape, and then you'll get a big one, and then you'll balloon up again. That was the story at Duke. It's going to be the story, unfortunately, for Zion moving forward. I don't see Ja Morant putting on 40. The dude's one.
There's not room for 40 on that frame. If he puts, God, that's like me when I put on 40 back in the day after a few trips to the Thai food place. Woo!
Hey, you carried it well.
I wouldn't say that I did.
So I don't have a lot of time left, Hicks, and I do have to go. Unfortunately, the new role that I have with my company doesn't allow me for Fridays in the office that I can extend this out. But here's what a couple things I'm excited about. 178 cards. We're going to talk about that over the coming months. I'm excited about the NFL playoffs. This is a make or break it for Matthew Stafford. If you bought some Stafford cards with LA, you need the dude to win some games. You need the dude to go to the Super Bowl. You need that defense to be just a little bit better and Matt Stafford to lead the offense moving forward. I like the Van Jefferson. I'm excited for your $3 Van Jefferson cards. I've got a chance to watch him a little bit more. I don't think he's on sync with Stafford all the time. He gets tons of targets because they need to throw him the ball. But there's a lot of, I think, missed routes every now and again that him and Stafford are on the same page, which could limit him during the playoffs. But he is a guy that can be a deep threat consistently. If he can get a couple of those, it's going to be pretty good. A couple other guys. Dak Prescott's got a chance to really increase his card value over the next few weeks. I think I would guess, and I don't keep track of it as much as you. My guess is that he's had a couple of struggles over the last month. Look, not that great. Cowboys haven't looked that great. I would assume he's either plateaued as far as his pricing or maybe even gone down as the Cowboys have struggled. That's a really good team. Defense wins in the playoffs. Running game wins in the playoffs. Watch out for Dak Prescott to make a little run here. So if you got any of his cards, I think it's been a nice plateauing of the value. He could see a big increase. I like that team in the playoffs. I just do.
Nice. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Dak has been a perfect example of player performance dictating market value, and it would be a great time to buy right now if you believe in Dak. And I'm going to post this episode today because it's going to get outdated quick. But I love your NFL predictions, and you're always saying smart things.
Stafford, Dak, high-profile guys who haven't had a good month. They haven't. I mean, their teams have won games, but they haven't been great. So it'd be very interesting to see that if it was just, some injury, a little injury bug, maybe, hey, we've already clinched our playoff berth, yada, yada. Those two guys have a lot to, the Kyler Murrays, sure, but they're already going crazy. Kyler's outkicked his coverage, what you thought it would be early on this year. Probably the prices are really, really high. Those, in my opinion, can maybe only go lower or plateau. Stafford and Dak haven't looked great. And if their teams can play really well in the playoffs, they're going to be fantastic. Good buying.
I'm rooting for both of them. I would like to see those teams. I would like to see one of those teams come out of the NFC. Anybody but Aaron Rodgers. I just, I don't like Aaron Rodgers. I would like to see him lose again. I know you love the guy. You have a love affair for him. But
I got bad news for you.
We're not fans of Aaron Rodgers in this household. Max and I, thumbs down to Aaron.
Down. Well, I got bad news for you, Hicks. Nobody's beating the Packers. The only team that can beat the Packers, in my opinion, is Kansas City. In Kansas City, I think that Spagnuolo got that defense playing right around week 9. They were awful. I mean, up until about week 9 or 10, and all of a sudden they had a couple good games. They had a stinker a couple of weeks back, but the defense is good. I think that's the only team in the NFL that can beat Aaron Rodgers. I don't think anybody in the NFC can. I think they're too good. The Rams defense, I would have set up 3 months ago that they would have been, but they haven't looked great. They haven't. I think Dallas has been the best defense in football for the vast majority of the season. They're a big play defense. They've got a shot. But in Green Bay, when the temperatures are below 20, we've been there when it's been below 20 to Lambeau. It's cold. And I just don't know. But again, I'll go back to my prior statement. Defense wins in the playoffs. Running game wins in the playoffs. Both of those teams have it. I want a Dallas, Green Bay, NFC Championship game in Lambeau Field at the end of January.
Don. Lee.
How much fun was that? All right, I got to go. I'm looking forward to seeing the posting. Tell the family I said hello. Enjoy the playoffs. First weekend, everybody.
All right. That was the great Murph Venus. Thanks so much for joining us, Murph. We love the segment with you. Let's keep it moving. All right. What a great show we had today. Thank you so much for watching and or listening. I'd love it if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Paul Hickey, or go to sportscardstrategy.com to find all the quick links to listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, join the Facebook group, etc. Thanks again to today's sponsor, MarketMoversApp.com by Sports Card Investor. I want you to go there and use the promo code NOOFFSEASON, all lowercase, to save 20%. Of course, you can also get a free $10 at starstock.com to buy cards by using the promo code NOOFFSEASON, all lowercase there. I'm Paul Hickey with NOOFFSEASON.com. This has been your Sports Card Strategy Show. Tune in next week. Thanks and have a great day.